It's a news segment, May
Hey,
21st, 2021. We hope you are joining us. If you're not joining us live, we are live every Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern at betterondraft.tv or facebook.com/betterondraft. Thank you so much for checking it out. And with that in mind, it is the news segment, so I'm going to play a little shindig here that goes like this.
Here is Robert with the Beer News.
That's right, it is the beer news segment here at Better on Draft, brought to you by absolutely nobody. Um, Rob, give us a little bit of news to chat about.
Rob, hold on. Were you chugging during
All
the whole
right.
thing? Was that intentional?
Yes, it was. I told him to do it after last week. I told him he needs to do it every week.
So as my internet is being a little unstable at the moment, the chug this time was Taxman Brewing Company's Tax Holiday, their bourbon barrel aged Tax Holiday, which is a bourbon barrel aged Belgian style dark ale with buckwheat honey. Comes in at about 10.5%. So
Great chugging beer.
about that can. All right.
I've got. Where are you drinking your vodka soda, Dan?
I am, yes.
I've got. So I was talking about the single cut at the last part of the episode. I'm gonna follow it up with this Black Fang from Illuminated Brew Works, which is a stout with coffee, cocoa, and Vietnamese cinnamon. Picked it up over at a Blue Front. Went to the Blue Front for the first time over in Ann Arbor. Neat little place.
Revitalization.
Wish that first of all, multiple frat parties on that street, and I was ready to walk down. I was with my girlfriend at the time, and I'm just like, hey, let's walk down there. Let's play some beer pong. Let's do something. But COVID.
That's and for those who are not familiar with the area around in Ann Arbor, that corner there with State Street and Packard is while Blue Front is a pretty cool store, parking situation is a little difficult, but it is what it is. But
It
all
is
right,
what it is.
we'll go through some of the news here. One of the things I wanted to talk about was a big thing that is being talked about recently with the United States Postal Service potentially delivering alcohol. U.S. House Representatives Jackie Speier of California and Dan Newhouse of Washington, along with 17 other House co-sponsors, basically reintroduced HR 2517, which is the USPS Shipping Equity Act, on Monday, which would allow the Postal Service to ship alcohol as long as it's complied with all other state and local laws. I am saying reintroduced because this was actually introduced a little over 2 years ago, but it's come back into light because now the Senate has introduced a companion bill to go along with it. Now, Spire, she is quoted in saying that in 2019, California wineries shipped 275.6 million cases of wine, yet consumers and manufacturers are prohibited from using the U.S. Postal Service to ship or deliver these everyday products. In most states, private carriers such as FedEx and UPS are already delivering alcoholic beverages, and it makes no sense to create a competitive disadvantage for the USPS by barring them from these kinds of shipments, especially given the Postal Service's dire financial condition. The American Postal Workers Union has also put their support in this particular bill, as they have posted on their website that back in 2018, that private carriers reported a revenue of over $3 billion from delivering for wineries, breweries, and other producers. Now, I took a look at the bill today, and there were some things that are very specific about the legislation. While it's great that it's talking about being able to deliver through the USPS, there are a couple stipulations that if this passes as is, this is what would be mandated, is that one, shippers must register with the Department of Treasury. Obviously, they are the federal regulator of alcohol. Recipients obviously must be 21 or older with valid government issued ID shown at the time of delivery. Shipments can only go to consumers, so deliveries cannot be made for resale or commercial. And additionally, the Postal Service must comply with state and local laws in force at the point of delivery, which obviously, with all of the different laws that the states are going to have, this could be a little bit complicating and trying to do this with all 50 states. Now, clearly, this would help out the breweries and other businesses that would ship beer, be it something like Tavor, Beer Box, any of those other delivery services. But from what I read, it still makes it illegal to ship consumer to consumer. So there's still that aspect that's there. And we would be pretty naive to think that there aren't people who ship consumer to consumer in this country in terms of shipping beer. It fucking happens. We know it happens.
Happens in the mail quite a bit.
Right. I mean, we were just talking to Aaron Jose 2 weeks ago. Was it 2 weeks ago or was that last week? I think it was 2 weeks ago.
It was, I think, 3 weeks ago.
We were talking about 3 weeks ago, talking to Aaron Jose, the documentarian who is going to be releasing the documentary, One Pint at a Time, which is going to come out this fall. But he had referred to them as shipping candles. We've had other people who says they're shipping clothes, but they're obviously they're shipping beer. But I guess the one thing that I'm thinking about is in terms of doing these types of shipments and being able to have breweries and businesses be able to ship out beer through the Postal Service. The one thing I'm concerned about is with the 3-tier system and how the 3-tier system and people within the 3-tier system are going to lobby for something like this to be struck down, because just that if another location or another brewery or another delivery company is sending beer straight to the consumer, that's clearly cutting out the distributor. That's definitely taking away from a distributor's money, where we've already seen what happened with Tavor in Michigan, where Tavor was doing business all well and fine, albeit doing it in a way that was kind of going backdoor to get the beer to people here in Michigan, but it was something where it was taking money away from distributors. So I'm wondering from you guys if the 3-tier system is going to have a problem if this passes.
I don't think it matters if they do. This is a whole different ballgame. This isn't someone trying to stop it from Michigan. This is the federal government saying, hey, this is good in all 50 states. What distributor has the juice to try and lobby the Senate to go against it?
The ones that have Budweiser or Molson Coors backing them.
Yeah, but are they going to be able to change the consensus for all 50 states because they don't think their state will?
Yeah, but
they'll lose money.
They still have to. This is a state by state. Like, this is a federal change, but a state by state law still supersedes. So Powers, which is, I believe, a brew house here in Michigan, could easily just take their money from Budweiser and be like, we don't want this.
Yeah, see, I don't know if it works quite that way. How would a state stop a federal law from happening?
No. We're not talking federal law. Again, we're saying, and he said it as I'm trying to find it in here.
This is probably the part where I got cut out then too when I froze. So my apologies if I misunderstood it.
No worries. So we would still have to follow state laws. So we still have to follow the Michigan state laws of, like, the fact that you can't
I gotcha.
You can't put beer on the word beer on a box in the state of Michigan for shipping. Even if you're not shipping beer, you can't put the word beer on it. You still have to follow those rules.
I got you. Yeah, that's a different story.
So sure, you're going to change the massive law across the United States, but it also says that the USPS still has to follow state and local ordinances.
Well, that's too bad, because that really does make it a lot harder to happen, and it's really stupid because it's really an antiquated type of thing. You should be able to ship beer. You should be able to buy beer and take it to go from anywhere that you want to get it from. So it is really kind of sad. It kind of makes me think the same kind of thing will go down if you remember Uber coming out, all the different taxi companies trying to fight hard everywhere over it because it was changing the industry and they didn't like it. So same type of thing will probably happen.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel like it would be kind of the same thing too. It's just I guess for their system, I don't know. I guess if it goes into law, I could see Tavor coming back, but obviously they would just have to change their model to the point where, in other states like Oregon, Washington, Colorado, where they can have the beer delivered through whatever delivery service that they're using, they would just have to ship it through USPS, which I don't know. Sometimes I kind of wonder about the fragility of the packages and how they're going to make it, because some people who have definitely allegedly sent beer through the USPS,
allegedly,
that there have been some packages where they have shown up where they have been damaged somewhat, and there's not really much of a recourse to doing anything about it, because obviously with what it is right now, shipping beer through the USPS is illegal. So there's not much you can really do. But I guess that takes me to my other point about the consumer shipping, is that, as I said, with everything that's in here, obviously, unless you're a shipper that registers with the Department of Treasury, any alcoholic shipments that you're doing is considered illegal. So if this law goes into effect, I pretty much already know the answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Is this law going to change how consumers ship beer?
No, not at all.
As I said,
because at the end of the day, do you like trusting things with USPS? Like, I sure as hell don't.
I mean, I've had a lot of shipments that have gone out and have been received from the USPS. The only thing that I have ran into is obviously with the packages that are listed as 2-day shipments, that they definitely do not show up in 2 days, but they do show up. So there hasn't been any issues with the packages showing up. And
speaking of shipment, Dan, have you gotten the Rochester Mill shipment yet?
No, sir.
All right, I'm gonna have to message Eric, but thank you for telling me.
Yeah.
And that's another thing too, is that there are breweries who send beer to us while we're hosting a show with them as guests. There are other breweries that that do collaborations, like Holmes doing collaborations with Modern Times, that they become buddy and they're shipping beers back and forth. I mean, it's still there's a bit of legality or illegality that's going on there, where they're shipping beers back and forth where they shouldn't necessarily legally be doing that. So, but is as you said, that regardless of whether or not this law becomes law or not, or this bill becomes law or not, it's not going to stop consumers from shipping beer. It's not going to stop them from having their Facebook groups or their trading Facebook groups or the razzles or any of that, where that's going to stop. So it's just going to continue. And
yeah, I don't think you're going to change the consumer side of it. I just wish we could, at least for consumer, make a law consumer friendly, where if you're not selling, but shipping less than a case of beer, just whatever. Because at that point, you ain't trying to buck the system by shipping 1 case of beer, and you make it to where people don't have to try to do something stupid just to ship beer. Just be like, hey, this is fucking beer. Take care of it.
Right. So there's that. All right, going on to the next one that I have here, which I thought this one was absolutely hilarious. So I'm really curious about your take on this. So this is an article that I pulled from foodandwine.com, and apparently in a world filled with beer definitions, there's this battle that's going on between that of Anheuser-Busch InBev and Constellation Brands. Now, the battle is over Corona Hard Seltzer, which Constellation believes that they have the right to make because they own the Corona beer brand in the United States. However, Anheuser-Busch InBev owns the Corona brand everywhere else through Grupo Modelo, and they say, yes, you own the beer brand, but you can't make Corona hard seltzer because hard seltzer isn't beer.
Uh-oh.
Now, in Constellation's brief with the court, they tell the court, quote, the sublicense agreement unambiguously includes sugar-based brewed beverages, including those called hard seltzers, within its definition of beer. And this court should reject ABI's latest effort to squelch a major competitor and need only construe the sublicense agreement as written to conclude that Constellation has every right to market and sell Corona hard seltzer to the legions of customers who enjoy it. Now, on Monday, Grupo Modelo reportedly responded to pointing out that Constellation had never referred to Corona hard seltzer as a, quote, beer in the general marketplace, adding that, quote, an average person asking for beer would be perplexed and likely disappointed when a bartender serves a Corona hard seltzer. How does Constellation attempt to reconcile this contradiction? Modelo was further quoted as adding, by claiming that Corona hard seltzer, a malt-free, hop-free, sugar-based product, is some non-beer beer, even though it does not taste, look, or pour like, or have the ingredients of a beer. It is a very interesting fight that is going on here, and I'm really interested to see how this is going to go. But I mean, from those statements, I mean, if the contract says that they can make a sugar-based brewed beverage, and doesn't mention the fact that it has to be a beer, I don't see where Constellation is wrong. But at the same time, I guess with ABI, that if Corona's, from their perspective, that the only thing they're allowed to have in the United States is Corona beer, how does Constellation get around that? Which, I don't know. I guess kind of thinking back to a lot of the breweries that are here that are able to get past getting a new license to make seltzer by basically throwing in hops into the seltzer and therefore it being construed as a beer, even though you don't taste the hops. So
is that actually a thing?
Hold on. So obviously this is I don't know if this is a lawsuit or potential lawsuit, but this sounds like a brewery that has a lot of money that could have a lot of political sway in distribution, Dan.
Yeah, well, this is different. These are breweries trying to fight each other. This isn't a distributor.
Yeah, but this is a big brewery trying to fight a little guy. I mean, we talked when we talked to 10th and Blake last week. Like, I did not hold back about Big Beer and some of the shiesty shit that they do. And I'm not one that says, oh, it's, if you're drinking Killian's, you're not drinking craft beer and you're an idiot. No, it's I wholeheartedly follow, as we all do, the if you like it, it's a good beer. But here, seltzer in the U.S. is taxed as beer, therefore it should just be beer. That's it.
Yeah,
if you don't like it, change the law.
Yeah, why are we trying to get rid of Corona hard seltzer anyways? It's one of the best ones out there. Like,
are you a seltzer?
ABI wants to get rid of everything, and if they want, ABI wants to get rid of all competition. Hold
on. ABI wants to make Corona Seltzer itself, because remember, Anheuser-Busch owns Corona outside of the U.S.
Yeah.
You think they would make it though, or would they shelve it to have one less option out there?
I mean, I was looking at, and there's another news article right now from Brewbound that says that in 2025, Seltzer is going to make 30% of the beer category tax-wise.
Oh, wow.
Do you want, Corona Seltzer, which you said is one of the best, a top seller potentially, to not be in your portfolio? I think it's 100% they want it in their portfolio. They don't want Constellation to have it. I don't think they would shelve it. I think they would take it, make it, and sell it.
And I guess that's the thing, is that Constellation doesn't have much of anything. I mean, after what was it? After they had bought Ballast Point, and then Ballast Point basically kind of fell to earth. I mean, what else do they have?
Yeah,
Are they still owned by that Kings and Convicts?
They still are owned by Kings
Yep.
and Convicts. I don't understand how you turned that brewery into a unicorn, but you did. And I just don't understand why. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me why like I you know what, I'm gonna bite the bullet. I'm gonna listen to some of our older episodes, and I'm gonna listen to what we thought about it back then. Maybe repost them on our youtube.com/better on draft. But I don't see why they would buy that brewery. But again, in 2015, 2016, when they, I think it was 2015 when they bought them. We didn't.
It was, yeah, I think it was something around that, and I can't remember what was the number. I think it was something like it was.
It was $1 billion.
Yeah, it was like $1 billion. Yeah.
Jack over at Zatuna Liquor literally said, "Now distributing Ballast Point, the $1 billion brewery," and a giant fucking sign for it on his sliding door. Yeah, no, I think that Anheuser-Busch wants the Corona Hard Seltzer name to sell the Corona Hard Seltzer in distribution and make the money off of it, because again, according to Brewbound, and I'll kind of end the that topic there by going over this, but if you go to, it's a subscription.
Of course, that's Brewbound for you. They got to make some money.
I'll pay for it one day.
Yeah.
But yeah, they think that by 2025, 30% of the industry, which again is basically ran by White Claw and Truly, are going to run 30% of the beer category tax wise, and they expect the explosion to happen this fall.
Right.
Wow.
According to Anthony Von Mandel and Jim Koch. That's White Claw, Anthony Von Mandel, and Jim Koch, which is Truly. I think White Claw is Mark Anthony brand, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Rob, what else we got in the news?
All right. So this real estate site called Clever Real Estate came up with a set of rankings of the best beer cities in the U.S. They created these rankings based on 50 of America's most populous metropolitan areas from best to worst when it comes to beer. Now, they use the following criteria: the number of breweries within each metro area, the density of breweries per 100 square miles, the number of beers per brewery, and the number of beer styles per brewery. So with this top 50, we'll start out with Dan with I would say Hot Ass Phoenix, but right now we're doing a Hot Ass Detroit edition right now. So it is it is kind of humid and like 80 something, which is uncomfortable out here. But out in Phoenix, Phoenix is sitting at 35th. With a total of 48 breweries and averages of 16 beers per brewery and 12 different styles per brewery. Us here in Detroit, we are ranked 14th with 58 breweries, an average of 30 beers per brewery and 15 styles per brewery, which 30 beers per brewery. I'm guessing they're getting that from the Hopcats and the Brown Iron Brew Houses and all those other like super 40 plus tap room places. So I don't know where you're getting 30 beers per brewery on that one. But number one on their list is San Francisco, with an absolutely staggering 144 breweries in their metro area, with beer and style averages at 19 and 11 respectively. Now, the top 10 on the list, going from 1 to 10, is San Francisco, Indianapolis, Chicago, Philadelphia, LA, Portland, Denver, Tampa, Cleveland, and San Diego. So those are your top 10. It's a very interesting list. Of course, and I don't even know why they put it on the list, but there's two cities at the bottom at 49 and 50 that have no breweries at all, which I don't understand why they're even on the list. I think one of them I was pretty sure was Salt Lake City, and I can't remember what the other one was. I think it was like Modesto or some city in California. I can't remember who it was, but it was just Riverside. Riverside, California.
Riverside has no breweries. That's kind of funny.
I'm guessing that they just didn't have like full data ready to go or confident data, or somebody called out their data, because it says sources brewerydb.com. So BreweryDB, which is ran by BrewLogix, this is a organization that makes a map, kind of like the Michigan Brewery Map app, which if you go to mibeermap.com you can download. But this is something that you need to think about when you go to this application is that it says Loaded Dice is open, which is true, but Urban Rest is still in the process of opening, which has been open for years now. So it's not a regularly updated app, so I don't know how much I trust this, to be honest. Just because, and the average beer styles per brewery, did it mention how it got that number?
It doesn't mention that, because it's just like there's like for a lot of the breweries or a lot of the cities that are in here, it just seems like the numbers are overinflated. Like I don't understand with Indianapolis that it says the average beer styles per brewery is 20. I don't get where they get that, because I couldn't imagine any brewery walking into any brewery and expecting to see 20 or let alone even 10 different styles in a brewery. So it's I don't know where they get their numbers and how they get their numbers. It was just very interesting to kind of see the list, but when you look at their numbers, it's just like where are they pulling this from? Like
look at San Diego.
I know Portland has a shitload of, like, Portland and Chicago have a shitload of breweries, but like Portland, I think, was the city that had the most breweries on this list with 183. Chicago was right behind it with 180. And just like, I know that we have a lot of breweries in the US, but damn, that's a lot in a metro area. And how far does that metro area extend? I mean, are we talking 20 miles from city center, 50 miles from city center? It doesn't really break out that information. But
so for Detroit, what sucks is it says like 100 square miles. So I don't know if it hits the other population centers. Like, does it hit Ann Arbor, or is that too far? Does it hit like the Howell Brighton area, which has a decent little amount of breweries? Because there's that whole, and Wendy talks about it all the time, being like a beer desert. Like, there ain't that much outside
on the west side.
Yeah, outside of city center, like on the west side, and then when you get into like Macomb, it's very, very limited when it gets to breweries. So, I'm surprised Grand Rapids was Grand Rapids on this list.
No,
didn't see it.
No,
Grand Rapids could easily have blown this out of the way, of breweries per, based on the 100 square miles for a metro area. Especially, I mean, they do have mostly large city centers, but there's no way you're telling me that you're going to include Raleigh, North Carolina, but not Grand Rapids, Michigan, when it comes to
and
population
I think that
centers, or Riverside, California versus Grand. Now, mind you, these cities probably are huge, and I'm looking like an idiot right now to those.
Yeah, Riverside's a pretty big city.
Well, and I think that's what kind of goes into the list of them looking at metro areas, because they don't. I mean, as far as overall population, I don't know where Grand Rapids is really even going to land in terms of just metro areas of population. So I'm kind of messing around with Wikipedia right now, and like Lansing, East Lansing is 103rd and they're the next one. They're the next Michigan locale that even hits the list. So
Oh, I don't even know what I saw the top 50 list on the Real Estate Witch website that you posted, but I don't know what else you're seeing.
yeah, Kalamazoo Portage is 184. So I mean,
Yeah, I wouldn't trust that website with a 10-foot pole just because
No.
it's not as updated as you would want it to be to produce this type of list. Um, so I am obviously not because I have my own list, but or my own map, but it's the fact that it doesn't really give you that much. Um,
yeah,
it's
it's
the
not
information's not that updated.
it's not really fair because actually, kind of looking at Wikipedia's list, Grand Rapids / Kentwood is 51st. So with the cities that are in there from 1 to 50 for most populous, there are a lot of city centers that are not that are on Wikipedia's list that are not hitting that real estate list. Because I mean, there's spots that are like San Antonio, which I don't think was on the list at all. Or no, San Antonio was on there at 41st. So I guess I kind of have to go back and forth and really see. But with Grand Rapids being that close in the top 50, I mean, you could have taken out. Screw Salt Lake City. I mean, if they don't, that's the thing. If they don't have anything, then
They
I
do
don't.
though. That's that list. I don't know what they're doing. Salt Lake City has quite a few breweries in
I mean,
comparison to the size.
it does. It definitely does seem suspect because Riverside / San Bernardino is 13th in terms of like the top 15 most populated metropolitan areas in the country. You're going to tell me that an area that has 4.6 million people estimated in 2019 doesn't have even a single fucking brewery?
Yeah.
There's got to be something out there. Something.
Rob,
Yeah, no, if I lived there, I'd be drinking nonstop.
Right.
Rob, let's do the that SB Nation. Dan, can you throw me your address in the Slack?
Yeah.
Yes. So, one of the coolest and sort of depressing things I saw going into these warm months, as I had mentioned, that it's absolutely hot as hell in Detroit right now. In not June. There's this minor league baseball stadium out in South Carolina that supposedly had held a $1 beer night. There was this post that I couldn't tell if it was either Instagram or Twitter, but somebody was holding basically a full-size baseball bat cup full of beer and was saying that it was $1 beer night. Now it's the home of the Myrtle Beach Pelicans that offers this glass, and it is the shape of a full-size bat. Now the article, which again, as Kenneth said, it was on SB Nation, that the glass looks like it holds, according to them, says that it holds about 26 ounces of beer. Now, sadly, the story came out to be a bit misleading because as the story came out, the Dan Patrick Show was very interested about this bat glass and the dollar beer night, had only to find out that the glasses, which, well, not necessarily are glasses, they are plastic, that they were selling for $15, but that they do have $1 beer nights on Thursdays and Saturdays, which are just 12-ounce cans of either Bud or Bud Light. But I guess it was kind of funny because where I was going with it was I was kind of interested that what's crazy is that apparently there definitely have been some people on some of these dollar beer nights that are getting drunk on some minor league baseball, which, if that's your area of fun, then by all means, head up and go watch the Whitecaps up here and go chill out and have some dollar beers. But I was kind of curious with you guys if you had that full size bat, 26 ounce, $1 beer night, what do you hope, as far as the beer, what do you hope is in that glass? Let's start with Dan. Or
okay,
Dan, you want
go on, Dan.
Yeah, well, it's got to be some kind of 12% barrel aged stout that better be coming in that damn beer or in that bat. But
Let's be realistic here.
if I had to be realistic, I'd hope it'd be something like the triple hop Miller Lite or a Mick Ultra or something, because you're getting shitty by the end of one or two of those.
Calm down there, McLovin. I hear they added more hops this year.
I mean, we only have to go back to maybe like the 1980s or 70s, where there was this infamous dollar beer night at a Major League Baseball stadium, and beers were being flung onto the field. So
did that actually happen?
Yes. There is. I can't remember. Like off the top of my head,
it's not dollar. It was the 10-cent beer night, and that was in
10-cent beer night. Yes.
My God.
Yes.
So they don't do dollar beer night here, and I don't know if it's a thing now that the pandemic's the whole thing, but they used to have $3 value beers here at the stadium that you could get, and they were 16-ounce. It was either Miller Lite or Bud Light, something like that. You could get those at like every stand.
That's something that's just dangerous. Like for me, for me, I would think, all right, what can I do? And I'm like, well, I can't, bring so many beers all at once, because I would buy them all, because I wouldn't want to get in line, because that's the problem is that when you're dealing with that kind of price, you're dealing with a line too. So first, right, I would go to the soda stand, which the soda stand would have like the family carrier that has like the nachos you could put in the middle with the 4 glasses around. Then I would go to the beer and get 4 or more, if I didn't get nachos and I just got the beer, beers, and then I have like a carrier case of all the beers that I'm drinking, and just take it to my seat and go.
Smart idea.
But for me personally, I would love it if it was Miller Lite or Coors Light, just because those are my two tops. But if I had a request, I would love like maybe like a Canadian lager, like a Molson or a Labatt. I can't tell you how many times Dan and I went to the little arena in Toledo, and they had like pretty decent, like 23-ounce Labatts for like $6. And that's arena pricing. And not like cheap, like, oh, this is our discount. No, that's just what it costs. And two each, and go get another refill, and you hear last call, and you get 2 more.
Yep. And then drive back.
See, and for everyone out there, this is what we are always talking about, that while we are a craft beer podcast, we do not skip on the yellow beers. We do not scoff at the Buds and the Bud Lights and the Coors and the Molsons. I mean, we enjoy those as well, just as anybody else. And for me, I would probably say, for $1 beer that's being filled in a cup like that, I'll take a PBR. I'm good. Maybe if that's the case, then I'll order 4 of those, and I'll have myself 4 beer flavored beers while I'm enjoying a sport that I don't necessarily enjoy, because I am a football person and not much of anything else. That's about it. I mean, I would probably, and that's just really being respectful of the price of things. While we could go crazy and say that have those suckers filled with Dragon Mead's Final Absolution, but $1 drag Absolution at 26 ounces, we're not walking out of that ballpark.
Nope.
I want to be able to have something where I can somewhat enjoy either the game or enjoy the conversation with the people that I'm with at the baseball game. And like I said, I'm not a big person about baseball. I don't care too much, but if we go to a game, then that's great. We'll go to a game, have some camaraderie with all the other people around, and just enjoy and have some fun. But I certainly, even though, that is probably the pipe dream of me and others, to have something that's going to be barrel aged in a 26-ounce glass, I still need to get home. So
that's a good point.
That's why you got to rely on public transportation. When I went to Phoenix with Dan, he was just like, "Oh yeah, we take this train," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, okay, so we don't have to drive anywhere. Let's drink."
Yeah.
The whole place is packed. All right, let's go to a bar and drink some more and wait till
Yep.
it calms down. All
I
right.
mean, if I was in San Francisco, then definitely I can definitely take the BART to my brother's place. So if that was the case, then hell yeah, bring on like the bottle logic and shit out there, and I'll do that shit.
All right. Before we go, I'm going to ask you guys one very simple question. Then we'll finish the episode, do a quick King of the Hill. And this is very, very simple. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
Which NFL stadium, as of last year, had the cheapest beer and hot dog combo?
I got my answer.
Yeah, I think I do too.
Rob.
I was going to say, what is it? Is Mercedes-Benz Field or whatever, wherever
The Saints.
the name of the field? No, not the Saints, because Mercedes-Benz has their name on two places.
Oh,
There's the Saints, and they have their name on the Falcons. So I was going to say where the Falcons play.
Dan.
I'm gonna say where the Jags play. They were giving away beer at one point.
The Atlanta Falcons is actually the correct answer.
Oh wow, nice choice.
$5 for a beer, $2 for a hot dog.
Damn.
You said the Jags?
Yeah.
All right, hold on. I'm still scrolling down and still scrolling down and still scrolling. There we go. So the price of a beer is actually $10.50 at TIAA Bank Field, and the price of a hot dog is $5.
That's what happens when Tony Khan and company get in charge, I guess.
Yep. The thing is that the Falcons. What was it? The Falcons was the right answer.
The correct answer is the Falcons.
Yeah, they made a huge deal about it about 2 years ago when they changed their pricing structure, and it has made a difference in getting those fans in there.
All right, let's get
Smart move.
back up here because I want to ask you guys what the most expensive one is now.
Oh shit. Most expensive. All right, I got an idea.
Me too.
All right, Dan, you can go first.
Oh, so it's between two. It's either going to be the LA Stadium or one of the two LA stadiums or the Las Vegas Stadium.
Got to give me an answer.
God, I don't know. What are the names of the LA stadiums? Are they both playing in the same?
They're both playing the same place.
Yeah, they're both playing at SoFi.
Yeah, let's go with that one.
All right, Rob.
Considering the cost of living out in San Fran, I was going to go with 49ers Stadium, Levi Stadium. That's what that is.
So Levi Stadium is 22nd.
Wow.
22nd most expensive. So obviously you want to get the higher number.
Must be New
York.
Dan.
Yeah.
You had you actually had number 1 and number 2 as the most expensive.
Las Vegas
is number 1 and SoFi Stadium number 2. Guys, that's going to do it. Better on Draft the News 521. Stay tuned. We're going to play a quick King of the Hill before we head out because I'm about to open up that beer, which means I need to talk to you guys some more, have some fun. If you guys are not seeing it because you're only listening to the podcast, head on over to Instagram. Check it out on Instagram.com/BetterOnDraft. That's the only place, unless you're listening live, BetterOnDraft.tv. No matter what you think of your beer, we think it's Better on Draft. Have a good night.
Peace.